Everyone, welcome to Perseverance IAS. Today is July 15th, 2021. The following are the important articles to be read in the Hindu newspaper. Government directs private sector to step up the pace of vaccination policy. You read this article to understand what is the current policy of central government and where their concentration lies in India's inoculation drive. Now, June WPI inflation eases to 12.07. What is wholesale price index? How it is interlinked with economy, particularly because of COVID-19 pandemic, how it is directly related to our economic growth and what impact that does it has on economic growth. Important. I humbly suggest you read this article today and try to make notes about it. Now, Afghanistan future can't be its past. Read this from the perspective of what is going on in Afghanistan, what is India's current stand, and when you read this article, I'll tell two more articles today that you have to link up all these three and make a concise para to put it in your mains answer writing. Now to page number 6, editorial. Making welfare conditional is a stamp of coercion. Read this editorial to get the second side of argument against the new population control policies that are being brought by various states in the country. This article concentrates on Uttar Pradesh bill, but the point is, nonetheless, you get the second side of the argument. That is why you read this editorial today. Ramping up supply. Again, you read this article to get an understanding of what should be the policy and what are the policy constraints that India is experiencing in its inoculation drive. Okay, now 5 years later, Brexit continues to divide. To get an understanding of what is the current status of British society, please read this article. What impact did Brexit had on the inner workings of Britain? What effect did Brexit had on Britain in terms of economy, in terms of regional politics or regional geographical politics, and population discourse? 3 editorials to be read today. If you could please skip all 3 op-eds. I repeat, skip all 3 op-eds. Not a single one is important. Now moving on to page number 8, news. The first article that you have to read in page number 8 is India Russia to hold 2+2 ministerial meet. What is 2+2 ministerial meet? What is the significance of this meet? Which countries does India have this 2+2 ministerial meets with, and why having it with Russia is significant? Please do read it from that perspective. Mains के लिए important. Now, India largest source of government info requests, says Twitter. Informative, not important for both mains or prelims, but just information. Moving on to page number 9. Drop cases filed under section 66A center. This is the conclusion in the 66A saga. Please read this article to conclude your answers in mains if a question is asked. The stance of the central government, so this would help you in concluding your answer. Now, moving on, LAC impasse is affecting bilateral trades. Try to read it from the perspective of current relationship with China and how our external affairs ministry or the government looks as a way out of our problem in LAC. This article will help you in understanding what the current government is thinking regarding relationship with China. Now, Modi Maldivian president hold talks. Try to read this article from regional perspective, mains or international relations related. Try to read it from that perspective. It gives you a current level of relationship with Maldives and what are the issues surrounding between Maldives and India. Moving to page number 10, SC to study courts rule in policy during crisis. This article is related to the concept of separation of powers. Please read it from that perspective to get an understanding of what courts think regarding their exceeding authority. Moving on, 9,800 crore support for livestock development. Who is doing it? Why are they doing it? What is the reason behind this package? Read it from that perspective. Economic recovery. Now, India's neurological disease burden rising. What is the problem here? How affecting or how it is related to overall health of India? From that perspective, please read this article. And remember, how did they arrive at this number? They are saying that 7.4% of total deaths are stroke related. Try to understand where the report comes from. Moving on to page number 13, that is World Taliban sees border crossing with Pak. Again, link up this article with the first page article of our External Affairs Minister's statement to develop a possible anecdote for mains. Okay, 12 killed in Pakistan bus blast, including 9 Chinese. This is a development in Pakistan. Read it just for information's sake. Maybe if it translates into real violence involving the Chinese, this might be first example of beginning of things going bad for the Chinese in Pakistan. So, not important for mains or prelims right now, but for information's sake, important. Try to keep it in mind. Don't make any notes, just keep it in mind. Insurgents back to old ways in newly seized territory. Developing story in Afghanistan. Chronology, timeline, that is why this article is important. Read it and try to create a timeline of events in Afghanistan. This article will help in that. Unrest in South Africa stokes fear of shortages. First, why there is unrest in South Africa? What is the Indian connection to the unrest? Why Indians are targeted in South Africa? And compare it with few years back there was an incident involving Indians in Uganda. Try to link up with that Ugandan crisis. Okay, Indians are being targeted in South Africa right now. Why they are being targeted and how it is resembling the Ugandan crisis. Russia, US have common interests on climate change. Important to understand how US is looking or Russia is looking at US right now. Relationship wise, information sake, nothing more. Page number 14, business. WPI inflation remains high. Again, WPI, try to read it from that perspective. RBI bars MasterCard from adding new users. Why are they barring it? What was the policy that RBI and MasterCard disagree on? How it is related to data security. Okay. RBI releases draft circular on UCBs. What are UCBs? How are they managed? What are the regulations that are related to UCBs? And why RBI is releasing a draft circular on UCBs? Now, tax scheme for garments to continue. What is the scheme? Why garments are being prioritized right now? And how important are garment sector for economic recovery? And is India at the top of garment manufacturing in India or any other country? The answer is Bangladesh. Why Bangladesh is able to overcome India in garment manufacturing? From that perspective, please do read this article. Now, these are the important articles that you have to read in the Hindu newspaper for today. Thank you. Stay safe. Please do comment, like, subscribe and share. Thank you.